Hello. Let's say that this board represents the beginning, pure consciousness. It's uninfluenced. It's not even aware of anything. It's just pure consciousness. It's the beginning. It's uninfluenced. There is no construct. I'm also going to represent pure consciousness by this water. This water is uninfluenced. No powder has been poured into it to give it flavor. It's just pure consciousness. And so pure consciousness can become aware of a thing. It can be conscious of a certain thing. And so this water can wrap itself around a concept. And once it wraps itself around a concept, if it chooses to believe that concept, the water can harden in acceptance of what it has wrapped itself around. And so this is the solid state of pure consciousness. It's wrapped itself around a concept. It believes that concept, it's taken it on, and it took form into a solid state. But even though this water is in a solid state, it can still change its mind about what it's wrapped itself around. It can change its mind. It can melt back into this state, and it can leave and wrap itself around a different state. And then if it chooses to, it can solidify and take on a new belief system. And so with that being said, I'm also representing this board as pure consciousness. And so imagine pure consciousness taking on a set of beliefs. Imagine it being programmed. This is a car. And so each line I draw is going to be indicative to something it was influenced by. This color is yellow. This is called success. This is that. And each time I draw a line, as I said, it's indicative to something that is influencing the pure consciousness. And so the pure consciousness takes on different things. This is a sport. This is my team. I like this sport. It takes on new concepts. And before you know it, the pure consciousness has formed. It has formed a persona based on the things that it has taken on. And so in essence, it's still pure consciousness, but now it has an understanding of the meaning of these different things. And whatever you have the understanding of is something that you stand under. And so now a persona was created based on the things that this pure consciousness stands under. And so everything the pure consciousness walks out to be. Hey, this color is yellow. Hey, I like this sport. Hey, I like this. But as I said, the pure consciousness can erase one of the things that it likes. It can change its mind and say, I don't really like this or believe that. And it can reshape, just as this ice. The pure consciousness can take form, but the pure consciousness can have a conversation. It can have a conversation with someone, change its mind. It can go back into a different form and re-solidify. So the persona that you created in this realm, it is based on things that you took the meaning of. For example, everything that hurts you. If someone calls you this, there was a time that you didn't know what that means as pure consciousness. That meaning had to be programmed into your mind. And then you had to accept that meaning as something such as this determines my self-worth as this character. And now what you stand under, what you understand now has subjection over you. All right. With that being said, you are automatically connected to source because source is still that pure energy. So we're going to just draw this up here as the great spirit or source energy. And so even though you started off as pure energy, you took on meanings and you formed a persona. But in actuality, before you took on meanings, you were equal to pure source energy. So what people begin to do, they meditate. And once you meditate, all you're doing is sitting aside from the meanings of this little narrative. Because this little narrative, once you became influenced, each time you become influenced, you leave pure energy in a sense, if you get what I'm saying. You leave the uninfluenced state. And so once you meditate, you are taking a break from the meanings. And as you can see, I'm erasing the meanings. And each time I erase, you become uninfluenced energy again. And so as you do this, as you meditate, all you're doing, you're tapping back into who you are as uninfluenced energy. And what people begin to say is things like, I have spiritual gifts. I've tapped into my spiritual gifts, but you have to think about this. It's not a matter of being in the state separated from this and saying I tapped into my spiritual gifts. It is a matter of returning to who you are as source. And then you will realize that everything that you are calling a spiritual gift is things that you can do naturally as a God. There is a difference between being a human and just saying I have spiritual gifts than it is returning to spirit, and everything that you call a gift is something that you're able to do naturally. I hope that makes sense. So it's not a matter of seeking spiritual gifts from the state of separation. It is a matter of returning. The prodigal son. The prodigal son left home, spent all the money on other things. The prodigal son returned. And once the prodigal son returned, the other son said, you didn't give me any of these things, and I've been here with you the whole time. And the father said, I didn't have to give you any of these things. You're here. They belong to you. So this is, in a sense, we are humans that say things like, I have telekinesis. I have the gift of this. I have the gift of that. We piled all of these accolades of what we can do instead of just returning to the state of equilibrium to God and just saying we're gods that can do all things. The question is, who do you think you are? What you think you are or who you think you are has limited you. You are able to return at any time. And all you need is unconditional love, because all of these things are conditions. I don't like you. You don't like my team. Even though the label of hating someone's team is something that you do on the earth, it is still hate energy in a sense. I don't like your team. I don't like that basketball player. Pay attention to the words you're using. They're conditional words. Unconditional love has no bias. So it's a matter of shifting the perspective of all of these conditions that you have taken on. Think about the fact that you're pure energy. You're energy. Think about the fact that you can walk into a store and say, that's disgusting. The item that you're looking at is just sitting on the shelf. Once you express a level of disgust, you become that disgust because you are energy. You mold into whatever you're doing. And so unconditional love from all of these conditions connect you back to source, because the labels of this earth, the conditions is cutting off the connection, and the connection is lagging. But the fact that you still came from source, you'll get a gift every now and then, what you call a gift. You'll get a spurt of something. But if you release the biases and the conditions, you will return, and that connection, because your body is just a vessel. Once you return to that full connection with source, that energy is flowing through you. You're in oneness with source. But every time you take on a bias, as I said, the world allows you to let me say this, people always worry about their physical diet, but your vibrational diet is very important. When you're saying, I hate this color, you're taking on that energy because you are energy. It's about a shift of perspective, because every color serves a purpose. You may not like the color brown, but brown makes the color of the grass look better. So it's a matter of shifting the perspective, shifting your biases, understanding that your words hold power. Life and death is in the power of your tongue. You are energy. I'll speak more on this later. The connection to source is dependent on what you are calling love. The conditions that you've taken on here, when you fully connect, it is like you have returned in everything you say. There is no lag. The human conditioning is the lag. It is the connection to the disconnect to source. Yet you are still, in essence, pure energy. It's just been conditioned.